Time now for our takeaways from the Spurs victory. Yes, victory
that sounds sweet,
over the Los Angeles Clippers at the AT&T Center. An impressive effort from start to finish for San Antonio, and it started with the defense here, David.
So nice to say that here at home, a victory over Kawhi Leonard
That too, yes.
and the LA Clippers. All right, the three takeaways is defense. Defense for 48 minutes, which includes the fourth quarter. Usually these Spurs have a problem with the fourth quarter. Tonight they started the fourth quarter with an 11-point lead, and they finished with a 10-point lead, never relinquished that double-digit lead throughout the fourth quarter. Big key.
Yeah, and speaking about big keys, Jakob Poeltl, LaMarcus Aldridge, their defense inside in the paint, really making it difficult for Kawhi Leonard and the other Clippers players to get going, and you could see that it obviously was causing some frustration for Kawhi and the rest of the other Clips.
Causing some frustration, and also when Jakob left the floor in the second quarter,
That was nice.
he basically got a standing ovation. The crowd was just so appreciative of what he had done, especially when you block Kawhi. That's always fun. And he said he even had to smile when he got to the bench. Didn't want to smile too early because he had to walk by Pop, and then he smiled. He didn't say that, but I said that for him. But he finally cracked a smile at the bench because of how the fans were just so ecstatic about what he had done.
Yeah, and I think that's something you saw tonight is that the AT&T Center was a little bit more lively, and I think it's because of the effort. It was not only because, of course, Kawhi's coming back into town, but just the overall effort, especially, as you mentioned, from Jakob and those other guys kind of playing off of one another.
I thought it was the good turkey dinners everybody had. It may have been that too, but I think you're right. I think the crowd was into it. Of course, pre-game they didn't boo him, but they booed Kawhi throughout the whole game. Every time he touched the ball, they got a boo, and I think that kind of got everybody going in the crowd. And then when they played like they did, I mean, from start to finish, and they get a lead, and it was a good game. I mean, it was a good game, but especially a good game for them. And, of course, one of the keys for the Spurs, they actually made a lot of threes. They made 14 threes. Derek White had 5 of those.
Derek White finished with 17 points to lead the Spurs in the victory. And once again, Derek gets a start over DeJounte, which I think DeJounte's now kind of getting used to coming off the bench. But Derek White, some huge threes there in the second half. Patty Mills also made some threes. And we've seen from so many Spurs games so far, they're usually getting bombarded with the threes. This time they were actually kind of giving it on their end.
Bryn Forbes even made a couple of threes, so maybe that'll help him get going as they head off to Detroit. And I know DeMar DeRozan said after the game that this is one that they can build on. Let's hope that it's not one that just ends up going by the wayside and wasted. You know, we've always talked about it. There seems to be a turning point in a game and a turning point in a season. Don't know that this is, but this could very well be a turning point in the season. I know the Clippers are blaming themselves. Oh, we didn't make any shots. We didn't do this. We did. But the Spurs beat them, and they beat them soundly, especially in the fourth quarter where they struggle. And this could very well be that building block that DeMar talks about, and it could very well be a turning point for their season.
Yeah. So we talk defense. We talk Derek White. What else? What's the last takeaway that we have here from again the Spurs win over the Clippers?
They held Kawhi Leonard. And they held Paul George below their season averages, big time. I mean, Kawhi had 19. He averages almost 26. Paul George was, I mean, that poor guy struggled.
And I think when 19 points for Kawhi Leonard, but 8 of 23 shooting, it was funny because Kawhi, after the game, said that they were definitely frustrated by some of the officiating. But I really think that the Spurs just kind of got their hands in different.
Like, did they not see what was going on down at the other end of the floor? Paul George, 2 of 11, 5 points. That was it. So there you go. So now the big thing looking forward is they play Sunday, then they play Tuesday and Friday, and then they get like almost a week off to recoup and get in some practice time. So I think that's going to be big. Let's just hope that this turns into something that is a building block towards more victories.
Yeah, hopefully so. All right, guys, so that's going to wrap up our takeaways from the Spurs victory over the Los Angeles Clippers and one Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi's now 0-2 in his returns here to the AT&T Center.
Sorry, Kawhi.
Yeah. David, final words?
Go Spurs, go.